welcome to episode 42 of the Dose of Wonder podcast. I'm your host, Caitlin McCall. My favorite poem is the famous Desiderata, which is Latin for things desired, written by Max Ehrmann in 1927. I have a copy of the poem pinned up in my office cubicle, and every so often when I remember its existence, I scan the piece and certain parts stick out, lodging themselves in my heart. Every sentence is a gold mine of timeless wisdom, truth, and a reminder of things we should hold in our hearts and take with us throughout our days, weeks, months, and dare I say, our entire lives. I'm sure a lot of you have seen and read it before. Apparently, it was widely circulated on posters starting in the 1960s and 70s, though I only came across it about 15-ish years ago. I thought I'd break it down and examine each section because each part, in my opinion, has so much to teach us, and it still feels relevant. So I'd like to go through the poem and pull out the key bits, those aha moments, and give people a solid understanding without feeling like homework. So, it begins. Go placidly amid the noise and the haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. That hits home straight away, doesn't it? I'm not sure about you, but as an introvert, I try to avoid noise as much as possible. And rushing through life, not for me. All of that drains me. And during the dumpster fires of the pandemic, I have found much peace through an increased and deepening meditation practice. Sitting in silence can bring so much ease to the craziness of the world right now. Even right now today, with everything that's going on, post-pandemic. It allows us space to just breathe and be, and remember what is really important. It's an active choice, seeking out that stillness when everything outside is just chaos. It makes you think, what does that actually look like day to day, finding silence? It's a reminder I definitely need sometimes, to consciously step back. I think we all do. And it sets up a core theme, doesn't it? That your inner state doesn't have to be totally dictated by the outside world. A gentle suggestion, maybe, for navigating life. So on to the next line. It goes, as far as possible, without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. I try my best to do this, but sometimes it's easier said than done. I try not to be judgy McJudgerson, but I'm finding it increasingly difficult with the behaviors of certain portions of the human population right now, if I'm totally honest. In my personal life, though, I try to be as open and open-hearted as possible with others. It feels like a bit of a balancing act. It's idealistic, but also realistic. It acknowledges that it's hard, especially when you see behaviors you don't really agree with. How can you stay on good terms without just rolling over? That without surrender part is key. It's about striving for it. We might struggle with some things we see, but still want to be open-hearted personally, which is that very human tension, isn't it? Wanting connection, but also having your own values. Where's the line? That's the question it raises. It doesn't give an easy answer, but it makes you think about the effort involved. It's about conscious effort in how you interact. The next line goes, speak your truth quietly and clearly. As mentioned, I'm a fairly shy and introverted person, and in the past I stayed quiet about most things. But in the past few years, I've been learning to stand up for myself more and speak my truth. And I think it's something we all should aim to do. Either speaking our truth outwardly to others, letting them know where we stand, or even just internally, coming to a sense of who we are as human beings, living as authentically as possible in our own lives, because it's the only life we have, our own. We aren't or shouldn't be living for other people. This one resonated with me. It's not just speaking up, it's the how, quietly, measured, clearly, so people actually get the message. It's that combination. Not shouting, but being authentic and understandable. It ties into that idea of living authentically and living for yourself, not just echoing what others expect, but finding your own voice and using it effectively. And that quietly part, it contrasts nicely with what comes later about avoiding the loud types, and it suggests a different kind of strength. And the poem goes on, and listen to others, even to the dull and the ignorant, they too have their story. This is a part that always stands out for me, the they too have their story part. It's an amazing reminder that we are all more connected, more the same, than we are separate. We are all the same species after all, even if we have different backgrounds, opinions, and beliefs. We all have our stories, and we all deserve to be heard. That simple phrase, they too have their story. It's a huge reminder about our shared humanity. Regardless of whether you think they're dull or ignorant, it challenges snap judgments. In a world that feels so divided sometimes, remembering that interconnectedness, it feels important. It encourages a kind of humility, I think. Maybe you can learn something even from someone you initially dismiss. It broadens your perspective. And next comes this part that I hinted at earlier. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexatious to the spirit. Does anyone else feel that this is one of the causes of fatigue that you might have felt during the pandemic? I'm finding that this segment of our society to be vexatious and draining to my spirit. It's not just Zoom fatigue, it's people fatigue. Trying to wrap your head around how on earth can someone be like that? It's not just annoying in the moment, it sort of lingers and affects your energy. It affects your spirit, as the poem says. It feels like permission to protect your peace, like setting a boundary for your own well-being. It's self-preservation, really. Limiting exposure to the things that just drag you down. The next part is, if you compare yourself with others, you may become vain or bitter, for always there will be greater and lesser persons than yourself. This is something that I need to work on, and something that I have been working on. I try not to compare myself to others, but sometimes I just can't help it. It's hard not to, when you have goals and aspirations, and you see others who have the goals and aspirations that you want but don't yet have. So this is always a great reminder to me, that there will always be people who are better than me, and some who are not in the same place as I am, and maybe some who knows, compares themselves to me and wish they could be in my shoes, which is really quite humbling when you think of it like that. So this is a comparison trap, which is relatable, isn't it? Especially if you're ambitious or working towards something. And the poem just lays it out. There will always be people ahead and behind of you. It's kind of freeing in a way, and it takes the pressure off that constant measurement. It's humbling, as I said, and it pushes you to focus on your own path, your own progress, rather than getting caught up in unproductive comparisons. The next part goes, enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. This is something that I struggle with, and I have to remind myself of sometimes, that I have had achievements in life and I should be proud of them. Why can't I recognize this more? And having a plan, having something to look forward to, especially in the challenging times of right now, is something to take pleasure in. It's common, I think, to always be looking at the next thing, and forgetting to pat yourself on the back for how far you've come, but also enjoying the plans, having something to look forward to, that hope, especially, as the source implied, when times are tough. That's vital too. It's about balance, isn't it? Appreciating the milestones, but also enjoying the journey ahead. The next part goes, keep interested in your own career, however humble. It is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Again, this is a great reminder for me, and maybe for you too. My day job isn't the most exciting. It's office work. But I am grateful to have it, especially when I know that others do not. It's a real possession. And as I've said before, especially right now, with everything that we'd rather forget has brought us. That word possession is interesting. It frames your career, your work, as something valuable in itself, a source of stability maybe when other things feel shaky. Something tangible you can hold on to. And that phrase, however humble, is important. It detaches value from status, that there's worth in just doing your work. The next part goes, exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let this not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. So don't let it blind you to what virtue there is. That's a difficult one, to still have some glimmer of hope after being scammed or led astray in some form. How can you not be tainted by a bad experience? But I guess one way to not be tainted is the reminder that there are still people being good and doing good and making the world a better place. Not everyone is Fagin or Scrooges in the world. This is about navigating the world. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. That's a realism alert. Yes, but then it balances it and says, but let this not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. It's that balance again. It's important to acknowledge the bad stuff, but it also pleads with you to not let it overshadow the good. Be aware, but don't become totally cynical, because there is still virtue, there is still heroism. It's about holding both truths, isn't it? The potential for bad and the reality of good. How do you stay discerning without closing yourself off completely? It's a lifelong practice, probably. Next it goes, be yourself, especially do not feign affection. Neither be cynical about love, for in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, it is as perennial as the grass. Be yourself. 2 simple words, but so difficult, at least for me, to really determine what it means. I have a quote decal in my home yoga space that says, in a world where you can be anything, be yourself. This is really the journey that I am on, and that I think all of us ultimately are. To discover who we are and how to love. It seems so simple, doesn't it? Be yourself. But man, it's a journey. And that do not feign affection part, it speaks to authenticity in relationships. Fake niceness doesn't really cut it. And then the next part, neither be cynical about love, for in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, it is as perennial as the grass. That's beautiful imagery, isn't it? Even when things feel dry and hopeless, love endures, like grass pushing through concrete. It's a powerful call to keep believing in connection, even after disappointment. And it's a really hopeful message there. The next part goes, take kindly the counsel of years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. I wish I'd asked my mom certain things I'd never thought about while she was around. I wish I could have her counsel now, and my grandma, and my aunt. They are now all no longer with us. I still have my dad, though, but he's, Dad, and I can't talk to him about certain things. As for gracefully surrendering the things of youth, I'm not sure. Should we do that? Or should we try to protect any vestiges of our younger selves? I mean, yes, except the wrinkles and the inevitable gray hairs, the physical trappings of youth we shouldn't cling to unnecessarily. But beyond that, I think we should still aim for keeping a youthful heart. This is about acceptance. Do you fully surrender youth or keep a youthful spirit? It's a good question. Maybe it means letting go of clinging to being young, but holding on to the good qualities, the curiosity, the energy, finding peace with aging, but appreciating the wisdom that comes with older age, and maybe not becoming rigid, accepting the natural flow, the different seasons of life. The next part goes, nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune, but do not distress yourself with dark imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. It's true that things maybe seem scarier and more overwhelming than they really are when we're by ourselves. or when we're just totally depleted and don't have the strength to face the world. So we need to nurture our spirits with self-care, whatever that means for each of us. So this part is about preparing for hardship. Nurture strength of spirit to shield yourself in sudden misfortune, building inner resilience. But then there's the crucial follow-up. But do not distress yourself with dark imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. That's so important. It acknowledges that our minds can run away with us, especially when we're tired or isolated. Our fears get magnified. And it really points to self-care, doesn't it? Looking after yourself mentally, emotionally, physically, to keep those dark imaginings in check. Build that spirit. Don't borrow trouble, as the phrase goes. Next it goes, beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. This is the reminder of the decade for me. There have been so many times where I've told others online the same 4 words. Be gentle with yourself. I just need to remember to be the same with me. This is about permission to be kind to ourselves. Yes, for yourself and others. It's okay not to be perfect. And find that balance between striving and self-compassion. We all need that reminder, I think, and often. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. This has always been my favorite quote in the poem. It's just so full of wonder and awe. I've toyed for years with getting the part, no less than the trees and the stars, as a tattoo, to remind myself that I am part of the entire universe. And yes, I do have a right to be here. Thank you very much. That sense of belonging it gives you, putting you right there alongside the trees and the stars, equal footing. It counters that feeling of insignificance that we can sometimes have. You belong here, period. It's powerful and so grounding. And next, the poem goes on to say, and whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Is it saying that fate exists? Maybe, maybe not. The universe will do what it does, whether or not we wish it otherwise. It's bigger than us. This one feels a little bit more mystical, maybe. It seems to suggest a kind of trust or acceptance that there's a larger pattern, even if we can't see it clearly right now. Maybe letting go of the need to understand or control everything, and finding peace with the mystery of it all. It can be comforting, I suppose, in uncertain times, to think that there's some kind of underlying order. It depends how you read it. Next, the poem goes, therefore be at peace with God, whatever you conceive him to be. I am not religious, so I don't believe in any God of sorts, but I am learning to be at peace with however my life has unfolded and will continue to unfold. It's very inclusive language there, and it's about finding peace with your own path, your own life, whatever your beliefs. And it goes on to say, and whatever your labors and aspirations, in the noisy confusion of life, keep peace in your soul. Keep peace in your soul. I think this is something we all need to remember and be reminded of. No matter what happens in life, keep a peaceful heart, which is what my meditation practice and study of Buddhism is teaching me. It brings it right back to that core theme, doesn't it? Amidst everything, the work, the dreams, the chaos, the ultimate goal is that inner peace, that internal sanctuary that you can always return to. That's the real prize. It originates from within. It's not dependent on external stuff. And the poem wraps up with all its sham, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be cheerful. Strive to be happy. The word broken dreams always reminded me of that painting, The Boulevard of Broken Dreams, by Gottfried Heinlein, showing Elvis Presley, Marilyn Monroe, Humphrey Bogart, and my perennial favorite, James Dean, in a cafe, icons of their time, relegated to, as the line says, sham, drudgery, and broken dreams. But I love that the poem ends with, it is still a beautiful world, a reminder that we should strive for happiness and make the best of whatever life throws at us. It acknowledges the tough stuff right to the end, the sham, the drudgery, the broken dreams. But even with all of that, it insists that it is still beautiful. And it gives us a job to do. Be cheerful. Strive to be happy. It's an active striving, isn't it? Not a passive wishing. Despite everything, choose to look for the beauty. Choose to aim for happiness. And it's a resilient and hopeful end. So now I'll read the whole poem in its entirety. Desiderata. Go placidly amid the noise and the haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible, without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others, even to the dull and ignorant. They too have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexatious to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain or bitter, for there will always be greater or lesser persons than yourselves. Enjoy your achievement as well as your plans. Keep interested in your own career, however humble. It is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let this not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. Be yourself. Especially do not feign affection. Neither be cynical about love, for in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, it is as perennial as the grass. Take kindly the counsel of the years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune, but do not distress yourself with dark imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you conceive him to be. And whatever your labors and aspirations, in the noisy confusion of life, keep peace in your soul. With all its sham drudgery and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be cheerful, strive to be happy. So pulling it all together from this deep dive, Desiderata keeps pointing us toward finding calm and practicing kindness, and keeping perspective, not comparing too much, being authentic, valuing connections, building inner strength, and ultimately seeking that peace within ourselves and actively choosing, to find beauty and strive for happiness. Timeless stuff, really. And hopefully there are some aha moments in there for everyone listening, which leads to a final thought for you, the listener, to maybe mull over. Which specific line or feeling from Desiderata hits closest to home for you right now? And maybe more pointedly, why? And perhaps what's one tiny way that you could bring that particular insight into your life? Maybe starting today. It's something to think about. And that's it for this week's podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. Next week, I'm going to be going into a piece I wrote called, What Does a Roman God Have to Do with Your Life? Until next time, thanks for listening, and don't forget to live with a dose of wonder.